Morning to all of you. Welcome back to the Namaste Experience here at Namaste Village. It is a beautiful Friday morning. Sun is shining. We don't have torrential rain, but even then it is so beautiful and we are so grateful because we are blessed. We are truly blessed this and every moment, no matter what. And this is the daily word for today. Blessing, to realize that blessing, to come into a direct experience of the blessing, even within the challenges that we encounter, maybe especially in the challenges that we encounter, because it's those challenges that shake us free from our dependency and our desires, our need to hold on to the world of form, to the split mind, and to see everything through that lens. It is these challenges and the blessings that come from them that help shake us loose so that we can see there's only one thing for us to depend upon, and that is grace. So this morning, I want to begin with something that Jet sent me yesterday. He likes to send me all sorts of quotes, often from Nisargadatta. I can never say his name. Nisargadatta. Is that right? Nisargadatta, that's it. Nisargadatta Maharaj. One of these days we're going to put a little picture of him up here too, because Nisargadatta is one of our favorites. So I want to share a little something that Jet sent to me yesterday. And when I read it, something very interesting happened. And I'm wondering if you can relate to this. Probably. It was as if a light went off inside me. And I began to feel a movement. Of course, that movement was grace. It was sparked by these words, but there was something deeper, something even deeper than the words themselves or the concepts that they were communicating. It was communicating me to me, the reality of who I am to who I am. And as I began to feel that and just dive into it, a voice began to stir within me. Of course, it was reflecting the voice or the words that Jed had sent me from Nisargadatta. And one might begin by thinking, well, you were channeling him. Well, maybe. I don't know. I love you. I don't know. I don't know anything, in fact. And this is the key. This is where our salvation lies, to relax into the I don't know, but to feel the blessing and to allow the flow to come from the I don't know. Right, Flo? To allow the flow. And this is where the grace takes hold of us and uses us as instruments of peace. So let me begin by sharing the quote that Jet sent me yesterday from Nisargadatta, and then we'll go from there. It says, spiritual maturity lies in the readiness to let go of everything. The readiness to let go of everything. The giving up is the first step. But the real giving up is in realizing that there's nothing to give up. For nothing is your own. It's like deep sleep. You do not give up your bed when you fall asleep. You just forget it. You don't go anywhere, really. This is the key. When you fall into a deep sleep, you wake up in the same place where you fell asleep, hopefully. If you don't, then we need to talk about that. But usually we wake up right where we fell asleep. And what I like to say, the heaven that you never left except in your imagination. You wake up in heaven. What does that mean? Does that mean that you're going to wake up in some starry, cloudy, ethereal space where there are angels flitting about? No, I don't. Scott says yes. Maybe, I don't know. I love you, but we'll see. All I know for sure is that you wake up in a state of oneness that is uninterrupted and uninterruptible. You wake up in a state of grace that is so overwhelming that anything that went before, anything that could come after, none of that matters, because it draws us to this sacred, holy moment and roots us there. That's the heaven that we cannot ever possibly leave. It's who you really are. And I think this is what Nisargadatta is referring to. Nothing real changes. The unreal simply dissolves. And we come into a state of wholeness that has always been whole, perfection that has always been perfect. So that being said, let me read to you I guess you could say that the spark landed in dry kindling, and that caught on fire. So let me express the heat of that fire now. I am everything and I am nothing. Everything and nothing. This experience, though unknowable in form, is inescapable to the one who seeks no escape, or to the one to whom all previous longing dissolves, save the yearning of the heart of God. Let me read that again. Every time we hear it, it will go a little bit deeper, like water that falls from the sky and hits the soil, and then as it begins to sift slowly deeper into the soil, to the roots, to the root of who you are. I am everything and I am nothing. This experience, though unknowable in form, is inescapable to the one who seeks no escape. That's you. Or to the one to whom all previous longing dissolves, save the yearning of the heart for the heart of God. In reality, nothing is everything. For to know one's self means forgetting the split self, which blocks the recognition of the one indivisible self, self with a capital S. Once again, to know one's self, it means forgetting the split self, forgetting the egoic self, which blocks the recognition of the one indivisible, undividable self. This self, which knows the perfection of itself, sees only the real and offers no attention to illusions, gives them no attention. When no attention is given to illusions, they wither as a flower deprived of water. But this withering is really a birth into a greater blossom, a greater blossoming, which the previous form could have never comprehended. It is through this uncomprehension, this non-comprehension, that the soul is lifted above the world into an embrace the world will never understand. In this way, the everything and the nothing merge into one. And this one contains all that is or ever could be. The merging into the one. When we seek no escape, you see, this is what we've been doing for so long. We've been seeking an escape from the one. Why in the world would we want to do that? Well, the answer is quite obvious. We want to escape from the one because somewhere in the back of our consciousness, there is a seed of shit. I did it. Guilt. I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have said something else, but I did. And so now this little seed of guilt, especially the guilt of that first, the beginning of it all, the very first step, what we thought was a step away from grace into a world of shadows and illusions. That first step, the idea that it would be possible to achieve the impossible, that it's possible to step away from all that is. And so the instant that thought entered our mind, so did the solution, that the impossible is forever impossible, and the probable is always inevitable. Not even the probable, the reality is always inevitable, the reality of who you are. And so the instant that shift or that recognition happened, that seed of guilt was planted. And so there's always this part of us, until we choose to let that part go, that holds back ever so slightly from that dissolving into that one indivisible self. But it's right now. It's always happening right now. You could choose it right now. There is no other time in which it could be chosen. You couldn't have chosen it a minute ago, and you can't choose it a minute from now. You want to believe that maybe at some point you will be able to. Maybe at some point you will have read enough books or attended enough morning sessions at Namaste Village or gone to enough, whatever. Whatever it is in your mind that you believe you could only, if you could just do this or you could just do more, all of that dissolves into right now. And you step into the experience of the heaven that you never left except in your imagination. And this is why the everything is the nothing and the nothing is the everything, because that's all there is. It's all happening. So relax. Just relax into that happening. That's all you need to do. That's the only thing that we haven't done, is just relax into the now that is forever now and forever available. So that's what sparked within me when I read that beautiful quote that Jet said. So keep them coming, Jet, especially the ones that come from Nisargadatta. He's so clear and so clean. The other thing that I love about Nisargadatta is he didn't give a shit. Did he, Jeff?
No.
He did not give a shit.
Mm-mm.
He would be smoking cigarettes and just doing whatever he was doing, sitting outside, and people would say, "You're the master?" And he'd say, "What are you talking about? Leave me alone. Let me have my smoke in peace." But there was something so vibrant and rich about his being that if you came too close, oh man, you came too close.
In an amazing documentary about his life, a man says he was kicking out Hare Krishnas.
Kicking out Hare
Kicked the
Krishnas.
out. This meeting.
I want to see that documentary. Yeah, I mean, I've heard similar stories about Papaji. Our friend Gina Salah, who comes here, she lived with Papaji for a good time, and she said the same thing happened with Oshos, with these Osho guys. He just said, "Get out." Why? Why did he say get out? Because I don't know. You know, there is a feeling when we give something because we're trying to get something back. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to offer something to you because I want you to see me in a certain way. I want to wear a certain garb or to act in a certain way so that you'll recognize me. And someone like Nisargadatta or Papaji or any whole mind is going to look at that and just laugh. That's how the master teacher was when I lived with him. He would just laugh. And if you were standing too close, you might get swept upside the head. But wake up. Stop playing these silly, ridiculous games, trying to get recognition for the self that is nothing. Just relax into the everything, and then you won't need any recognition as an individual self, because there is no individual self. I think this is what someone like Nisargadatta, Papaji, this is what they were vibrating. That was the vibrancy of their being. And it's the vibrancy of your being too, if we would just let the walls fall down that try to block that vibrancy. This is why Jesus looked at the people and said, why would you build a fire and then put a bushel basket over it? The bushel basket is your self-identity. The idea is that you have of who you are. It's like putting a bushel basket over a fire. Well, guess what? First of all, that fire is going to burn up that bushel basket. Can you imagine you're taking a basket and putting it over a fire? It's only going to block it for a certain amount of time, and then it's going to burn it right up. And that's what your being is doing right now. That's what the truth within you is doing right now. It's burning up the bushel basket of your imagination that you use to try and hide from you. It was pointless. It never had any effect. It never had anything. So, as our, my other guru lately is Bob Newhart. Jet's looking at me like, who's Bob Newhart?
Exactly.
He would just look and say, stop it. Just stop it. I'll show you that later, Jet. You'll get a good laugh. No, you all know who Bob Newhart is. All us older people know who Bob Newhart is. So stop it. Stop hiding. Let yourself be revealed. When you hear something like what Jet sent to me from Nisargadatta, let it spark that fire within you. Write something down, sing a song, make a painting, whatever it is that you want to do. Let it shine. Let it shine. Because it is shining. The only one that's dimming that shine is the you that you think you are that was never real in the first place. So, that being said, oh, Vicky's not here today. That's right. That's why I'm going a little bit longer. So we're going to bring Scott up at the very end to sing a little ditty about nothing. But until then, I'm going to have, let's have you, Calico, share for a few minutes, and then we'll bring up Scott. Good morning.
Good morning. Great share. Wow. It goes back to that I am. I mean, really what you're talking about, I'm everything, I am nothing. It's the I am. Because as soon as we split it out as I am Calico, I'm now in dualistic land. Or I'm a liberal, I'm now in dualistic land. I am whatever, fill in the blank, I'm in dualistic land instead of just I am. There was someone came up to me because I fell in love with John Oliver. I'd never heard of him before. Anyway, and he came up to me and he said, oh, so you're turning into a liberal. And I thought, oh, I didn't take it that way. I mean, even John Oliver and the thing I was watching about, he gave props to Trump. So I sat with that going, wow, I'm not a liberal or a conservative. I like to laugh, and John Oliver lets me do it. And he doesn't seem to be angry about anything. His delivery is precious. So, it's this, I don't separate myself out. And if I have strong feelings like I'm a liberal, then I need to look at that. There's hooks there for me somewhere. I'm separating out them, and I am over on the other side. So it's a very big dualistic state. So it's really to use those as, huge jumping off points for forgiveness. And, just this past week that I was in retreat, it wasn't like a big thing. And you said it, James, it's like, these people saying, Osho and whatever, get out, it's kind of like, just say what you need to say. And I always would get stuck on one-on-ones. People would come to me wanting to do one-on-ones, and I don't have anything. I have nothing to offer. Yet people would come and, they'd share whatever they share, and then I wouldn't respond, and they'd continue sharing the story. And what I had to get was, and this is my huge codependency that I healed in one quick, swoop, was I need to just say, okay, just pause a second. Let me just go into prayer, and then come back with, this isn't for me. This isn't for me. I mean, it's so simple. I don't have to engage with it. I don't have to offer any insights. I can just listen to the story and go, well, before you go on, I can stop it after a half an hour. That's the other thing. I don't let it need to go on for hours on end. I can just go, okay, let me pray. And it may say to offer something. I don't know. But 9 times out of 10 for me, it's that codependent nice girl that wants to be helpful is going to find something to share. And it usually comes out in frustration and anger because there's nothing there. So I just need to give myself props. It's like, yeah, okay, come on in one-on-one. Okay, just let me, I don't think I'm the one for you. There's someone else for you to see. And leave it at that. Just move on. Don't judge it. And the other thing, someone I've been watching online, Matt Garrett, he said there's only one dis-ease, the dis-ease of guilt. So it's like, that simplifies it. If you think you've got, oh God, fibromyalgia and pain in your back and cancer or whatever, no, you have one disease. It's guilt. Seek it out and do it, serious damage. That's all I can say. To turn it over to Holy Spirit, eradicate it, and move in. I'm enjoying the birds. I'm enjoying the rain. I'm just here. I'm pure consciousness. Anyway, thank you, James. That was great.
Hello.
Well, being a former Catholic, I know something about guilt. And I also know about letting it go. Let's do it. Let's let it go. That little seed that sits in the back of our mind, not the obvious guilt. Most of us have cleared a lot of the obvious guilt, but there's still that seed, because once that seed has been pulled out, the weeds can no longer grow. The weeds can no longer grow. So, Scott,
Yeah,
why don't you come on up and
close it out.
close it out for us?
God, what a treat. I pretty much forgot everything that has been said this morning. I was going to ask James to remind me, and I thought, no, wait a second. I'm empty. That was what was it about, right? So I'm turning the music thing on. Okay. Okay. I am not a Christian. I am not a Jew. I am not me. And neither are you. All I know is how much I don't know. The rest is left to the cosmic undertow. Pull me out to sea where there's nothing but we in unity. The house that I built is built on guilt. I'm ready to receive the end of the only disease. Guilt is the only disease. I don't need to say pretty please. I can just let it go. bliss. Whenever I am not, I think I'm healed. Whenever I'm alone, I think I'm friendless. Could it be that it is all no big deal? No big deal, it's a cosmic joke. All our burning issues are going up in smoke. There's a laugh in everything, appearances conceal. Even Monty Hall agrees it's no big deal. No, nothing's a big deal. Let the truth be revealed, it's no big deal. Was I channeling? Maybe, I don't know. I love you.
Amen. Thank you, Scott. Beautiful. And to that we say, Amen, 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 y punto. Have an amazing day, guys. We love you so much. Namaste.